A very sizable group of individuals now believes that level 4, level 5 availability on full self-driving will happen by the middle of next year, possibly a little later. I just did an interview yesterday with AJ where he thinks it might be as much as 18 months, but that would be his outer limit. You can see other pundits who think it'll be a lot longer than that. But given Elon's statement the other day that we're very close to getting to 10,000 miles between a major problem, major interruptions in the drives, I think we're a lot closer than anybody thinks. But let's go with next summer. Let's say that an unsupervised robotaxi drive would be possible. Whatever regulations or regulators exist that might have anything to do with it would approve it, and it would be ready to just launch the entire thing in one swell swoop. Maybe that is the case. Maybe that's what Elon has in mind. And I think if he announced on the 10th that he expects the Robotaxi network to go live by June, I think that would be received okay. Not great. I don't think the stock would go crazy. I think the stock would probably go flat, maybe a little down. And it depends on what else is announced. On the other side of the coin, almost everybody in this channel agrees that if we have a supervised robotaxi network announced at 10:10, whether that supervised robotaxi network would start on 10:11 or whether that would start on January 1 or sometime kind of in that frame, we think the stock would go up quite nicely. Well, it isn't always just about whether the stock goes up or not, because frankly, I'm not going to sell. Maybe you're not going to sell, but there is a lot of folks out there. I mean, you may be one of them that, plays it a bit and is looking forward to a big bump after 10, where you might sell and then wait for a little dip in order to buy in again. And I would totally get that because I've always loved the volatile stocks and always loved the idea of bouncing in and out based on my expectations. I don't do it anymore because it's too hard on the ticker. But okay, I think sooner is better. I think supervised is the way to go. I am now going to give you 12 reasons why I believe that is the decision that will be made on 10:10. And that if those who watch this channel that have any authority or any ability to change things or move Elon or move the decision makers at Tesla, uh, if this isn't what's going to happen on 10:10, I would encourage you all to just look at this list and see if you change your mind by 10:10, because I'd really like to see it happen. All right, here we go. Number one, and the main reason. Many months ago, I started asking my co-hosts to occasionally pretend that they couldn't intervene, as if the car was already unsupervised. That didn't mean risk their lives or their paint job, but merely to have the mindset. I think drivers of supervised robotaxis will have a requirement. In other words, when you sign up, when you say, I'm going to do it, there will be a disclaimer. You will be signing something that says that they will have a additional reporting in order to help train the system, rating each ride on a 1 to 10 scale, and or providing additional written or vocal instructions related to the robotaxi specific issues and problems. I think this all by itself, having anybody who signs up to do a supervised driving job, who's going to take fares and get paid, will have this additional responsibility, that the data received from that kind of driver in the seat would be invaluable to Tesla. And that would be the number one reason for doing it. It would be almost like the Chuck Cook corner, where you have those ADA drivers who are testing and testing and testing. Well, instead of paying a whole bunch of people to do this, you could be paying them to take rides, to take drives. Maybe it would be free to Tesla. Maybe there'd be an expense. Maybe it costs money. Maybe Tesla loses money between now and when level 4 happens, but it would be I think it'd be totally worth it. But that's only one of the 12 reasons. Number two, Tesla needs to figure out what to do in odd circumstances that are specific to not just the car. We've been doing that for a very long time, but also with regard to passengers. What are passengers going to be demanding? What are the actual issues with the drunks and the sick, the emotionally disturbed, the flustered, people that just, Maybe they're older even than me, and they're cantankerous. Who knows? What happens when there are surprises that might require some kind of assistance from a remote attendant eventually? But right now, the live human that would be in the car could be reporting on the kinds of things that they run into. How often do these kinds of things happen? The live driver can do these assists, but they need to report them to Tesla. So that's kind of a little bit of an elaboration of what I said earlier, but in addition, some of the specifics of what might be looked for. Number three, Tesla needs lots and lots of data. They're saying that that's the big problem right now is getting enough data to be able to make to be able to have the system, learn about these edge cases. Well, adding Robotaxi now, even if only 1,000 or so vehicles, on those 100,000, they would be getting 4 or 5 times the data that they're getting now from those vehicles. And maybe they would be getting them from more unique and unusual situations, because we'd be talking about lots of airports. I think we'd be talking about lots of venues where people would be dropped off for entertainment things and such as that, and maybe more difficult driving situations. So I think it would be fantastic in terms of data accumulation. Number 4, Tesla also needs more help in deciding what to do about fueling, washing, maintenance, flat tires, similar other road hazard problems, accidents. Those are going to happen, whether the car causes them or whether somebody else runs into the car. There's going to be accidents. So how do you deal with those situations? Things of that nature. So that would be the 4th reason why I think this would be a good idea. Number 5, what would be the right way to charge the customer? Right now, we've got everything from people thinking that we would charge. I say, hey, when there's no driver there, you could charge more because there's no tip and there's no, dealing with all the smells and all the lunches and all the, conversations that you didn't want to have. So I've said, hey, you could charge more. You can certainly charge more if it's a Cybertruck. Right now, of course, Uber charges more for their limousines and whatnot. So how do you end up charging the client for this? And that would be another thing that could be starting to work on before it goes live. Number 6, consumer feedback. So one of the big things about all of these rideshare services is it's just like going to an Airbnb, is that the drivers rate the customers and the customers rate the driver. In this case, they'd be rating the car and the driver, I suppose. But the more ratings start to come in the beginning, so that we can get ratings on both of these people, this is going to be helpful going forward. Number 7, the easy transition. So we want an easy transition to when unsupervised happens. It will truly, if you want to truly push the button on your app, I'm talking about the owner of the car, the fleet of one or the fleet of hundreds, the person who is going to push the button on their app and their car is going to go out and make some money for them. We want that transition to be smooth. We don't want there to be just all kinds of issues that were unforeseen because there was no previous understanding what's going on. So both Tesla and the owners could get some kind of a transitional thing going on to where they could learn about some of the issues that they might be seeing in the future, as well as some of the revenues, and start to make the models. Number 8, there would be an immediate uptick in sales. This is a big one. Maybe this should have been number 1. You would see an immediate uptick in unit sales of existing vehicles. The people who are riding, the customers who are in the cars, the consumer, what do you want to call it, the ride-hail person, they're going to get in the car, they're going to see how great it is, and maybe they're going to want one or tell their friends about it. There are also going to be people who want to earn money doing this. We already know that's going to be a big thing. Well, if we start the ride hailing now with a supervised driver, people will start buying them for that purpose. And that would be just 2 of the groups that we could see buying immediately. There would also be, of course, all of an additional round of publicity, because publicity is way better in terms of cost per. Anyway, PR beats advertising every time in terms of the cost. Number 9, You could start now to build the brand, getting the customers on board when they don't have to question the safety. So they'd only, at this point, they're just like, oh, do I go Uber, do I go Lyft, or do I go Tesla? And maybe they go to Tesla because it's a brand already. Maybe they want to try it. Maybe they get the app and they see, oh, there's a certain benefit, or maybe it is lower cost. But anyway, you can start building the brand, associating it with rideshare now, because nobody has the app except for people that own a Tesla at this point. So you need all of these people that are going to potentially rideshare. You need them to start, putting the app on their phone and having it be one of their choices when it comes to needing a rideshare. Then also, if they do it while there's still a driver there, then thinking about the safety issue as they make the decision. And then when they do go fully autonomous, that will be the only thing they have to think about. They're already got all the rest of it worked out. They realize how easy it is, how simple, and now they don't pay a tip, but they do have a question. Maybe, is this safe? All right, number 10, Cybertruck rides can probably charge more. Already mentioned that. That would create a massive demand for Cybertrucks, like we need more demand for Cybertruck. Number 11, data will be helpful in getting approvals both in the US and around the world. This maybe should have been way at the top also, but if right now you've got a lot of data that you can show to whatever groups are making decisions about what's required in order to meet safety requirements. Those are all based on regular driving, not shared driving. Yeah, Tesla may be able to figure out who's out there that's doing Uber and Lyft right now, but if it was their own system with their own app, with their own agreement from the drivers that all that data can be taken in, now they can share that data. They get that specific data that they can take to the regulators. And number 12, evaluations of the business proposition for Tesla and for the fleet owners. They're not waiting until 18 months from now or 12 months from now or whatever it's going to be to begin to really understand what the business proposition is. Is this something where Tesla can charge 30%, of the revenue, or are they going to really only be able to charge 20% of the revenue? What is the number that's going to make sense? Now, AJ said, and others have said this too, that at some point it makes no sense for Tesla to sell vehicles anymore. They should put them all out on Robotaxi. I don't happen to be part of that group. I think that they're going to be selling cars to consumers for many, many, many years into the future. Maybe 2032, 2033, the whole rideshare, driverless car thing will be so pervasive that Tesla will get out of the business of selling cars. But I think we are a very long time before that's going to happen. Anyway, what do you think about these 12? What do you think about the list? Let me know if you've got other items that you think would go on the list that would be in addition to this as reasons why they should start now with a supervised robotaxi system. Or do you think some of my reasons are just plain dumb? It's entirely possible. And then if you're thinking about it, you could join Patreon. That would be really, really cool. And you could, I think this will be first thing Saturday morning that this is being shown. So later this morning, probably around 11, 12 o'clock, we'll have Larry and I going over what happened with the Cathie Wood conversation, which has got to be absolutely amazing. You also might want to go back and look at yesterday when I did my conversation with AJ, where he talked about the third quarter earnings and many other subjects. We went across a whole range of subjects. Fascinating conversation, which you should go back and look at. I will put that card up there, and then you hit notify so that you can remember to look at the Larry and I later today. And then, of course, I'll have my regular Saturday afternoon show, probably around 5 or 6 o'clock, where we will give the news, any news that's happened over the weekend for Tesla that you would be interested in. All right, that's all I got for you right now. It has been great, as always, talking to you.